All right, Facebook world, here we go. You guys been seeing the promo, man. If you are thinking about investing, trying to figure investing out, you're a seasoned investor, just starting to invest, it really don't make no never mind, man. Um, what we're going to share with you today is an opportunity for you to learn from one of the best, not only one of the best investors, but one of the best investor trainers. He trains investors. So get your questions ready and be prepared. Let me get this over to the page, and then we're going to actually start the show officially. And we're going to try to give as much time to this brother as humanly possible within this hour and let him really, really bring to you what it is that he does and what he's all about. So give me a second to get this shared over. Go ahead and share the stream now. Go ahead and share the stream now. Let's see if I can find. All right. All righty. So I just wanted to get that shared over. Man, I really hate this Facebook not giving me. Man, I really hate this portrait mode anymore, but it's not my platform, so I can't do nothing about it. All right, there we go. Just want to make sure I can see your comments as we set up the show for today. Just bear with me one more quick second. All right, Angela, Giovanni, good morning. Good morning. Lady Ray, good morning. Miss internationally known radio and TV superstar, Lady Ray J. Hey, we got to talk, Ray, because now that you're on to terrestrial, I've got some. You got to send me over a price list. I got to start advertising, man. I got to start advertising on y'all platform. So send me the price list, man, and what you're gonna charge me to do some spots to create some commercials for me. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and start the show. Our guest is waiting in the wings. All right, y'all ready? It is official.
Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real as hell. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real as hell. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you have is like, well, we're being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything. Not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. Yo, it's the love of money that's going. You know what? Money so much. Why you get up and go to work? Yes, I do. And I'm all going to things that my things I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, Financial Health Network, the working class, Mr. Cortez.
Good morning, Black World, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor privilege, and a blessing to be coming to you live and direct from the Wesley Learns to Invest studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're not familiar with the children's book, Wesley Learns to Invest, it breaks investing down to where a child can understand the importance of investing and ownership. In fact, it is the book that most adults probably should start with so they can understand the power of investing and ownership. So go to wesleylearnstoinvest.com. You can not only pick up that book, you can pick up others. You can also learn about today's guest and everything that he is and everything that he's doing in the world of investing as an educator and that sort of thing. Today's show is also brought to you by Monetize My Life Academy. If you are trying to figure out how to package your gifts, talents, and special abilities to present them to the marketplace, Monetize My Life is the premier branding and marketing academy that will teach you how to do just that. MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. So you guys know, if you're new to the show, this show is for risers and grinders. If you're ready to get up and get out and get something this morning, this show is for you. If you are the type of person that is about building a legacy for your family, then this is your show. Because if you're like me, every night I go, before I lay down to sleep, I'm thinking, what can I do tomorrow, next week, next month, next year to make sure that my children's children are proud to bear my last name? If that's you, this is your show. On the other hand, who is the show not for? It's not for the eternal pessimist. If you're the type of person who's got a problem for every solution, this ain't your show. If you're the type of person that can't stand money, you think wealthy people are jerks, you think capitalism is a dirty word, then this ain't your show, man. Because that's all we talk about here is wealth. Notice there's a difference. We talk about wealth and not necessarily riches, because there's a difference, right? And if you've never seen a future billionaire before, I want you to take a screenshot, and watch me work. 2027 is going down. And I know some of you guys are thinking, how the heck you gonna become a billionaire in 2027? Now, you can't do that. That's 10 years from now. Ask the founders of Uber, right? Uber is less than 10 years, worth $3 billion. Come on now. You got to dream big around here, and that's what this show is all about. So what I'm going to do is introduce to you our guest for today. This brother is internationally known as an investor and an investor educator. His show and his podcast, The Investor Show, has been a long-running success on all of his platforms. If you're not familiar with it, then you can start out with youtube.com/The Investor Show, but it's The Investor Show on all social media platforms. The brother loves what he does. He loves teaching and training and educating in the realm of finances. He's also a host of a brand new show called the Prince of Investing Show that airs locally in Hawaii. And I want you to really, really show this brother some love, man, because he is in his home state of Hawaii. And yes, it is 2 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii. So show this brother some love for getting up, hanging with us, and coming prepared to teach you what he knows about investing in this short hour time frame. So I'm going to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Prince, the Prince of Investing, Dykes. Wesley Learns. Man, how are you doing this morning, brother?
Man, I'm doing outstanding. You know, it's a little early out here in Hawaii, but, you know, like you said, you got to get up early. Early bird gets the worm, and it's never too, you know, I like what I do. So when you like what you do, yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but, you know, time doesn't matter. But how you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing all right, man. Thank you, and welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you coming out to hang out with us again. It's early in the morning there, and you said, hey, man, let's do it. Let me talk to your people about this thing called investing. So before we get into the questions that I have for you, man, talk real quickly about who you are and some of the things that you've been able to accomplish and where this fervor for investing actually came from in you.
Well, like you said earlier, my name is Prince Dykes. Right now, I'm currently in Honolulu, Hawaii, out here. I founded Royal Financial Investment Group. Like you said, you know, I wrote 2 books, Wesley Learns. I created the Wesley Learns series, Wesley Learns to Invest, and Wesley Learns About Credit, which turned into a cartoon. I started the Investor Show in 2013. is, like you said, it's been pretty successful on all social media platforms, and created, apps, entrepreneur, investing. The whole concept of me investing came from I was introduced into finances while serving active duty in the military, where I got my start from. But then while serving, I went on to earn my associate's, bachelor's, and MBA, different investment license, Series 65, Series 63, all the good stuff like that. And I started in 2013. I was like, hey, I just want to share with other people. And as I started to share it, and things just grew, and ended up crossing the globe, doing a lot of great things, and and end up on the TV, radio, all the other great stuff. So, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah, man. And I've seen you, I've watched your progression. I think I was first introduced, or we first met on Facebook about 2.5 years ago or something, man. I've been following your star as it continues to rise, brother, on all the news platforms and all over the globe. Wesley Learns to Invest is in libraries all over the country, all over the world. There's in Hong Kong and all that kind of stuff, man. So when you initially wrote the book, what was the thought process in your head when you were writing the book? And did the way the book has been received, was that anticipated?
How the book came along, for people who don't know, Wesley is a real person. That's my son. So he's 6 years old now. When we started on YouTube together back in 2013, when he first started, he was 2 years old. He was on my lap. So as I was learning, I kind of learned the concept of investing, and I became interested in it. I told my parents, I was like, why didn't you guys, this is something you guys could actually done for us. And for me and my brothers, I have 3 older brothers. And my dad was like, man, I didn't think about it. That is something that we could have done. So it became my mission to, well, like, if my parents didn't do it for me, I want to do it for my son. So we were just sitting there on my lap at the time. Just being honest, I did not think the Investor Show would turn into what it's become today. As you know, finances and financial literacy is not the hottest topic that people care about like that. So, back then I thought like, hey, this is just something I'm just doing for fun, just me and my son. But things just kind of grew. And people started to actually know who Wesley was. As I was shooting and doing tutorials, he'll be in the background and stuff like that. So I went and took the concept taking the concept of me and my son, and we just formulated into a book. I just tried to make it as simple as possible, because when I looked at the financial industry, everything was geared towards adults, or everything was geared towards credit repair. Learn to do this for adults. Learn to do this for adults. And as I was crossing the globe myself, I was surprised at how many adults from universities all the way down to elementary schools that were learning the concept of investing. And my thought process was like, what if I could like introduce a child into the concept of investing and whatnot? And it's really, the concept behind it was something I was wishing that I had. I was wishing someone had taught me. So I just took it and took myself and Wesley and my wife, and that was the concept we had been doing on YouTube for that time. YouTube, Facebook, on the Investor Show, what turned into the Investor Show. We had been doing that. So we just formulated into just a broke down version of what me and my son had already been talking about, and sharing knowledge to say, hey, this would have been great. I wish I would have been reading this. And, that was formulated with, as Wes would come home from school, we had to read books to him. So I'm reading these books, and they pretty much was saying nothing. It was saying like, hey, the cat jumped over the hill. It's giving you a little arithmetic or whatnot, but it wasn't valuable lessons for life, because it was my belief that no matter what you do, or no matter what you become in life, you will have to learn the concept of investing, whether it's in the market, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in business, whether it's in yourself, whether it's in college. Some form of investing is going to come to you. So I felt it was a very important topic, and that's kind of the way I just wrote it, just made it simple and easy. And we did that, and I forgot to mention the whole Shark Tank situation. That ended up coming on later on, but that's where the whole concept came from, just me and my son Wesley, and then it just turned into the book and the cartoon. How it was received, it was surprising. I was not expecting it to be received that way. At that time, I knew that it was great because I wouldn't have wrote it, right? I was like, I think this is good. Something needs to be there. But I was trying to get it published, right? And nobody was interested in publishing my story. So I did it myself. And I thought like, well, if I do it myself, I don't see it, going to libraries and, schools and stuff like that, it won't be as big. So, but I ended up becoming wrong, and I put it out and just kept doing what I've been doing. And, that book is, I don't know, over 2 years old, maybe 2.5 years old now.
Right.
And it's still trucking, and it's still trucking. As some people are just finding out about it. Some of your listeners or your followers, they're probably just finding out about it. To me, that was my first project. To me, I think it's old, but it's just so relative to now. Then more people are becoming financial literate. Like we've seen with Jay-Z's album, the 444. People became all of a sudden people became interested in credit and investing and finance and stuff like this. And these products that I had made years ago are now becoming popular, or becoming people are like, hey, you know what? That's cool. I like that concept. I did not, and the biggest thing I was surprised when adults picked it up. I was like, well, I didn't really. But I said, well, it can go for adults, but
But you have to remember that financial literacy is not taught. So as elementary as you brought down the level of investing, that's still high level for a lot of adults. They just couldn't. True. I mean, that's where we are, man. And you're right. Financial literacy is one of those things that's kind of a taboo subject, especially in the Black community. Nobody likes to talk about money, but at the same time, everybody tries to look like they got money, and they're spending money they don't have to look like they got money. That's why they don't have money in the first place. It's just a mess. But we appreciate that work, brother, and I'm glad that you didn't give up on it because you couldn't get it published. And so note to the viewers, sometimes you just got to do your own thing, man. When you feel that something is right in your heart, you just have to go for it. And even if that means you put your own money up, like Dame Dash says, a boss puts their own money up if they believe in a project, man. And I'm glad that you did, because like you said, now, even though it's self-published, everybody is coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, we got to have this book in our store. We got to have this book in our library. So again, the book that we're talking about is Wesley Learns to Invest. Go to wesleylearnstoinvest.com. Let me do this real quick. If you have not gotten that book and you are committed to getting that book for your children, type Wesley Learns to Invest in the chat. Type Wesley Learns to Invest in the chat. It's a really good story. And my children were older when we got it. And I think my youngest was 13 or something at the time. My older one was 15 and then 17, something like that. And we went over it and read it, and it's like, it's simple. Why don't we think about that? If we can look at the Foot Locker and see the line around the corner, every 2 months they drop a new Jordan shoe, why not invest in a Foot Locker? Why not invest in a Nike? And that's kind of how you broke the book down. So talk a little bit about the second book in the series, Wesley Learns About Credit.
Wesley Learns About Credit. That came out this year. We just did the official launch in June. 2 years. It was 2 years. We did it. We did a launch out here in Honolulu, Hawaii, with iHeartMedia. The cookie legend, Famous Amos, came through and he hosted it. And we did it here. We officially launched it here. The second book is taking the concept of credit, keeping with the notion of the first book of investing. We're taking the concept of credit and we're breaking it down to a child's level, to where parents, it's hints in there where parents can start to build their child's credit. It breaks down the concept of credit in a storyline that when you get done with it, hopefully you can gain ways you can start building your child's credit, and that it can explain these terminologies. It's that these things are not spoken about. They're not talked about. I don't care where you go out in life, you will run into the concept of credit. I don't care where you go out in life, you're an athlete, you're a speaker, you're a basketball player, whatever you're doing in life, you will run into the concept of investing and credit. So the whole premise of that book is to introduce this concept to get the juices flowing about credit. So when you become an adult, when you become 18 or 19, and maybe you go off to college or you become an entrepreneur or whatever your endeavors are in life, and now you're faced with the real reality, because you will be faced with it. When you're faced with this real reality, you're already mentally prepared. I heard about this. I read this before. I know this concept. My goal was to have kids when they're 16 or in high school. They got a very good concept. They got a very good concept of credit. They have a very good concept of investing. So when I go around and speak around the globe, it's people that are 40 years old. It's people that are 50 years old. It's people that are doctors. It's universities that are clueless, that are trying to figure this whole thing out, and which is fine. It would be the same way, Cortez. I always use this metaphor on a lot of interviews. It's just, if I took a car to you and the engine was blown up, you couldn't find out the engine was blown up because I never put oil in it. And you as a mechanic, the first thing you would do is look at me like I'm crazy and say, why you didn't put oil in your car? And what if I told you nobody never told me about putting oil in my car?
Right.
You'll probably look at me like you didn't put oil, like.
Right.
So, and a lot of people try to teach the person now how to put oil in their car, how to maintain their car after they done blew their motor out.
Right.
Imagine if that person was taught that, and that's what the Wesley Learn series does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's powerful, man, because like you said, there's terminologies, there's concepts. And then when you understand that, like you said, investing, teaching to invest in yourself, teaching when you invest time, you're going to get a return. Those are all things that we do on a daily basis. But if you never heard the term investing, then we wouldn't look at it like, okay, I'm going to put time into the gym as a kid to work on my jump shot. And down the road, I'm going to get a return on that investment. If you keep that concept alive, you'll eventually say, hey, I can put some money, energy, and effort into a business venture or into a capital fund that later down the road, I'm going to get a return on that investment. So those concepts and precepts have to be instilled as a child. I love the book. I love everything that you're doing, brother. So let's talk really quickly about just investing in general. Now, from the child, we know that one of the reasons that this stuff just has not been taught. We don't talk about this stuff around the breakfast table, around the dinner table. In fact, we don't even sit around the breakfast table and the dinner table anymore, right? So we've got to bring that back. We've got to bring the conversation about money back. No matter what it is you know about it, you get what you focus on. And if you don't focus on something and talk about it, you never learn about it. So I think having a conversation is one thing, but talk about, from your experience, and you've heard from people all over the world, why is it, do you think, that most people don't invest?
I think most people don't invest, to go back with, like, let's take my parents, for example. My mom passed in 2013, but my dad is still alive. He's 71. And the thing about them, they were both school teachers, college educated, obviously, but they wasn't in investing. They wasn't big on investing. They told me, hey, never invest into the market, just work, get a job and retire. Never invest into the market because, you don't know what you're doing. You'll lose your money. And in their era, they didn't have the resources that I'm afforded to have in my era. Right now, we have so much information. We almost have too much information at our hands now. But with them, they just didn't know. They didn't understand, and they just couldn't pick up a cell phone and kind of figure out and log on to something like this and listen and watch. And they didn't have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter to just podcasts where they can just listen and get this type of information. For them, and where I'm from a small town in Georgia, you had to drive an hour or two away, sit in the office with a stockbroker, and they show you some charts and some numbers that you're not familiar with. So guess what you end up doing? You end up just saying, I'm just going to pass on that. So that's the big thing that why a lot of them didn't invest. And I think today it's just that people just don't know about it. As much as financial literacy out there, I think it's a gap there. It's like you have this financially literate people, and then you have the market there that tries to market to them, but it's still a gap there that's slowly closing because of technology, what we're able to do now. Right. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to exist. Nobody would know who I was, but just due to technology, now you're able to get across the globe, and for people to see. And I think that as more innovative ways of educating people, whether it's children's books, whether it's cartoons, or whether it's podcasts, it's radio, TV, or whatnot, I think it'll make it a more relevant topic, and more people, hopefully will seek it out.
Yeah, I think that lack of knowledge is the fundamental reason. People talk about being afraid, but how do you get over anything when you're afraid? You learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because people won't take the time to learn, therefore they use being afraid as an excuse, right? And then they say, well, I don't have the money. Well, that's probably why you should be trying to learn how to invest, so you can change the financial lot in life. And I didn't get a chance to tell you, brother, thank you for your service, man. I appreciate if it wasn't for guys like you serving in the military, there wouldn't be guys like me who get to participate in this free enterprise system and go out and leverage capitalism to feed my family. So we appreciate that for your service there. And how long did you serve?
14 and a half right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still active. So 14 and a half.
Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Good deal, man.
14 and a half.
That, man.
I'm 32 years old now, and I started out at 18. So
okay. Yeah. All right. That's what's up. Well, stay safe out there, brother. And we keep you in our prayers when you're out there on the front lines for us. You mentioned the Jay-Z 444 album, man. And I want to talk about that and get your perspective. I haven't heard much of it outside of the OJ story, but that was very profound. And it's funny that I think you and I are in the same place where when we heard it, we hear somebody who is extremely popular. I was just looking at his fan page. He got 20 million followers on his fan page. Somebody that popular, bringing that much attention to financial literacy seems like it would be a great thing. But all I hear is people bashing the brother because he's just now getting conscious, or that's his excuse, or now he wants to say. I don't care when he says something relevant. When he has that many ears listening, he can say something relevant 50 years from now. What's your take on that, man? Where people are really bashing the brother that we're doing something now. Maybe he could have done it 20 years ago, but maybe he just became socially conscious and aware of the power of financial literacy, and he wants to speak on it.
Well, I didn't hear about the bashing piece. Of course, like you said, I'm right there in the same boat with you. All I heard was the one song. I haven't heard the whole thing. But, you got a lot of media, you got a lot of press, and a lot of people wrote me. I don't know how many times people wrote, or phone calls, text messages that I got about, financial literacy and this or that or whatever the case may be. As far as, it's obvious that he's been practicing what he's preaching, right? Because it's obvious that he's been able to take his influence and his financial gifts and being able to grow them into something else. He's been able to take something from little old, just hip hop to make it a global, to become a global icon. That itself shows that, he's initially aware. And it's the same thing that you're doing, Cortez. It may not be on the scope of him, but, you're taking something as small as a webcam, right? And you're being able to get thousands of people to tune in and to follow you, right? So it's the same concept, just because, he may have millions and, big marketing budgets, but I'm right there with you. It doesn't matter when someone says it. And yes, it's been said and done. It's been other artists that said it. It's been other people that said it. I think it was more of a shock value that people are kind of finally hearing it. And then sometimes I'll probably be dead by the time some people pick up on my material that I was doing when I was alive. And and what I mean by that is everybody's not ready to receive it yet. Everybody's not ready to, when you have a baby, you just can't start feeding them meat and steak. They have to grow to that. Everybody's not ready for it at that particular time. Some people they're just looking to go party, and they love the old hustler music that he was making or whatever the case may be. So now when it forms into, when he becomes an icon like that, it's, when he becomes an icon, he, society you know, society seems to be more aware, and we want more people to talk to us and more conscious, and it's more relevant now than ever before, you know. So
And you said something key there. You said it's obvious that he practices what he preaches, right? See, I put a post out a little while ago, and I said I stopped listening to Jay-Z, the rapper, about 10 years ago. That was about the same time I started studying Sean Carter, the businessman. Because if you're paying attention, even from the queen he picked, that was a strategic business move. Now, I'm not saying that he don't love Beyonce, but I'm saying you look at the moves that he has been making, and that was enough of a blueprint for me, whether or not he ever came out and spoke and did a whole album to show that he's conscious about finance. I started watching the fact that he took and paid $5 million for his last album because he wanted to break away and start to own his own masters and stuff. I said, here's a brother who's starting to get and understand the power of ownership. Then his ownership in the Brooklyn Nets at the time. Then his ownership in when he bought the streaming service Tidal, and he started the athletic agents. I'm like, this is a brother who's starting to understand where real money and real capitalism is taking place and starting to stick his hands into it. So I started studying the business moves and not necessarily listening to the rap. But one thing that you have to give the brother credit for is evolution. We all will evolve at some point. And I think he's not given enough credit for evolving, because now people say, oh, now he says when he's almost a billionaire, he could have been telling us this. He didn't have to tell you anything because he's been showing you how to build wealth and turn your talent into an empire for the last 20 years or so. So let's get off that soapbox. Let's talk strategy real quick, right? So I'm a person who I like to talk more long-term investing. Put your money into something that is giving a good return, but not playing the market so much on a day-to-day basis, but long-term continuous contribution type deal. But you know stocks, trading, all of that stuff. So what would you say to somebody who's trying to get involved in trading from a very fundamental level? Where are some places that they can go to start learning, educating themselves, and probably some things that they can do, maybe first 3, 4, 5 steps type deal?
Okay. Okay. I would say the first thing is just being honest. You know, Cortez, I know you've been following me. You've seen me. You probably saw me at Berkshire, right? Their most recent meeting, right? People who don't know Berkshire, you know, that's Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of our time, generation.
Exactly.
So, man, you know, just think, and just to piggyback off it, I forgot to even mention it, but just think about that stuff that I wrote on my desk, that was a notepad that ended up turning into books, made it all the way to Berkshire. So all the way to Buffett. And if you don't know Buffett, he has a very, very, very small circle. You know, it's only from him down, it's only like 20 people. So, but long story short, I would say my first piece of cold hard facts is out there, you know, being around the industry and meeting different people and sitting down and doing my own research and reading and stuff like that. If you're a brand new person, listen to what Cortez said. Don't try to come in and get quick money, because the thing about it is that's for the elites. You know, it's like planning to go to the NFL, knowing that only 1% will make it to the NFL. So it's cool to go out there and have fun, but you can win in the long run as well. So for prime example, you know, we're in a very bullish market, we're in a very long-term investment, right? You know, with the market. So a lot of people like to come in and try to play it. So don't try to come in and think that, hey, I have an edge because I saw this advertisement or somebody told me that I can do this in the market, because I'm here to tell you about 90 to 95% of those people are being very misleading, right? A lot of people tell you how much when they win, but they don't tell you when they lost. Because if it was that easy, you know, Wall Street is really based there to take money from the public. That's the whole reason for a company to go public. Hey, I'm going public to get money from the public. Now, if somebody can just sit at home, open up a laptop, and just take money out of Wall Street on a consistent basis, then Wall Street would collapse. It would be no purpose for it. If regular old Joe Blow can just open up the laptop and just boom and just suck everybody's money out of Wall Street, then Wall Street wouldn't be able to function. And Wall Street been functioning just fine for years. So a lot of people, they come in, they're being misled. So they try to come in and say, oh, well, I'm just come in and do something quick. And that's why a lot of people don't invest, because they can't see long term. They can't see, 5, 10, 20 years down the line. You're thinking of 5 days, 20 days. And that's the thing that plagues our community, that we have a very short-term vision. We can't see, a decade or 2 decades down the line. We look at today. And I'm not saying that, hey, that is a bad thing. Some of us have to look at today. But in the investing world, when you look at one of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett, he didn't accumulate 99% of his wealth until he was after 50. Right? So when everybody was in there trying to run and get this and get that, he has the philosophy of long term. Look at everything for the long term. I don't care if I don't make money today. I don't care if you lose money today. If this is a good move for the company long term. So my thing is, my first step would be, hey, if you want to start investing and you want to do it on your own, right? The first thing you need to do is listen to stuff like this. Go to your phone, subscribe to podcasts. If you're on Facebook, people say, oh, Facebook is bad. No, your friends list is bad. So, because it's a blank page, you may need time to upgrade the Facebook page. So the first thing you need to do is get in the circle, download podcasts, subscribe to podcasts, subscribe to YouTube channels, follow people on Instagram, follow people on Facebook, whatever. Get into these investing circles. Maybe you need to get added to some groups. So, because once you start seeing that stuff go down your timeline, it'll start to change the subconscious mind. Now you have that and you decide, hey, I want to go off on my own. I want to do something for myself. I'm not trying to get anything crazy. Now you need to go look at an online broker, right? The online broker is somebody like an E-Trade, a TD Ameritrade, a Scottrade, Fidelity. If you don't know how to do that, you can, on my YouTube channel, I have step-by-step tutorials to show you how to start a TD Ameritrade account today, or YouTube, or not a YouTube, but an E-Trade or whatnot. And there's tons of other channels that are out there, I'm guessing, that would teach you that. So you can go to YouTube, learn how to set an account up. Then you have an account. I would suggest that you first invest with the market. Invest with the market right now. When you look at it, invest with the market is, I will start off with an ETF that tracks index, right? And just keep investing into that thing, just like you pay your car note, just like you pay your lights, your rent, your water. You just buy it. You buy it. I don't care if we go to war with North Korea tomorrow morning and the market collapse. You just continue to buy. Maybe if you only could do $100, $200, $300, you just do that every single month and you forget about it. That's the best way. That's the first way. Then next, start looking around the house. Start taking that concept of Wesley Learns to Invest and look around the house and start to see little things you may want to invest with. And once you find those little things you may want to invest in and invest with, start to look at those particular companies. Every year, you are buying, most of us get up every day and go to work or have your own company and you use some type of Microsoft product, right? And if you're using some type of Microsoft product, start there, and you still have your base, but then again, you start to elaborate or whatnot. But before one major key I forgot, before you start that, first thing you need to ask yourself, are you short-term or long-term? Anything over 12 months is considered long-term. Anything under 12 months is considered short-term. First decide, I'm going to be short-term or long-term. Boom. Once you got that, next question. What is your risk level? Are you low risk? Are you high risk? Are you medium risk? Ask yourself that question, right? Once you find out that you're low risk, high risk, or medium risk, then you need to ask yourself the question of how much money do I have? So let's say, for example, if you say, hey, I'm long-term, I'm very conservative. I'm long term. I'm low risk, and I have $500. Knowing that, now you can filter down your investment, because now you don't want to just jump in and be like, you know what, I'm gonna just grab some Facebook. Now Facebook is up 10%. You're like, okay, do I buy some more or do I sell it? Now you just jumping, you buying more. Now you just selling it. But if you already know what your goals are before you go in there,
right,
it will set you up for success in the long run. So when you know, okay, if this is what I want, now you can tailor down your investment vehicle to cater to what you want. If you're short term, and like for a prime example, like you say, hey, I want some money in 3 months, but I'm very low risk, then jumping into the market may not be the smart choice, or jumping into a stock may not be a smart choice. Something like a high interest CD may be a smart choice, or a high interest, a CD, or you have these high interest checking accounts or whatnot that you could look into, because your money is a little bit safe, but it's going to get you more than checking account, savings account, and a checking account, savings account, and a money market account. So this could be maybe a proper vehicle. Hey, my daughter or my son is getting ready to go to school in 3 months. Maybe a CD might be a proportion for you. But those taking that concept, that should be able to get you on a good starter basis.
That's good stuff, man. I like that. I like that. Identify your goals. Identify who you are as an investor. What are you trying to get out of this thing? And I like the fact that one of the things we teach is cash flow management. Get yourself financially stable, because if you can't, you can't invest if you're not financially stable. Meaning, if you don't have an emergency fund already set to the side and you're playing with the mortgage money, then the minute something breaks down, then you're going to pull all your money out of those investments to try to deal with those emergencies. So get yourself stable. And when you're stable, then you can do that continuous contribution. I like that method. Is just say, hey, I'm going to have something where an ETF or something like that is going to consistently grow over time, and I'm going to consistently contribute to it every month. So it's not only growing with the interest that I'm making, but it's growing because I keep putting $100 a month, $50 a month to it. Now I like that as a base platform. And like you said, look at some of these things that are going on. Look at the lines around Apple. Look at the lines outside of Foot Locker when the J's come out. Look at what Nike is doing. Look at some of these things that are trending and that kind of stuff. And then if you see them as things that you love and you recognize that other people love them, then investigate that company as whether or not is a good and sound and solid investment. So I like that a whole lot. So let's break down some terminologies and some terms for some of our investors who might have a little bit more savvy. They've already been studying a little bit. So I don't understand the difference between options trading and things of that nature. Can you break that down for us?
Okay, so now you get into the concept. Okay, so you brought the concept of stocks. Now you're going to go to the next level of option trading. If somebody's a little bit more intermediate to advanced, now you're going to go to the concept of what's called derivatives. A simple concept I would kind of break this down for people to understand is, let's say if you went to work one day and they said, we're going to give out 100 tickets for $100 at your job or a fair, whatever the case may be. And with that, we're going to raffle off a Honda Accord car. So everybody goes in, they buy their tickets for $100 because they're waiting on the raffle to be able to win this Honda Accord. Once everybody bought their tickets for $100, now they turn around and say, instead of us giving away a Honda Accord, we're going to do a Lexus, right? Now you may have some coworkers who don't have a ticket that may say, wow, I didn't know they was giving away a Honda Accord. Cortez, let me buy your ticket because now they're giving away a Lexus. 9 times out of 10, you're going to sell your $100 ticket for more because, the value hasn't, increased of it, right? So let's say if you sold it to me for $150 because it's a Lexus, and then the job comes out and say, hey, instead of a Lexus, we're going to give away a Porsche. Now you sit back and you see, oh man, they're giving away a Porsche. And let's say if somebody wanted to buy my ticket from me, I may sell it to somebody else for $250, right? Right. And that concept, you see, what value does this ticket really have? It doesn't have a value. This ticket is just gaining value because of a car, because the car is gaining value. That ticket is a derivative.
Okay.
That car is the underlying stock. That car could be Amazon, it could be Apple, whatever you're option trading from. And that ticket is a contract, right? So essentially, your ticket value is based off of the underlying stock. So if this stock moves up, this ticket gains value. Because let's say, for example, how the game was really set up, it was for insurance. Let's say you're a regular person, you have, $10,000 and you buy a bunch of Google. What if Google collapses tomorrow? Right? What if Google goes from $1,000 that it's at today to $800, $900, $700? You could lose 10, 20, 30, thousands of dollars in a matter of, of hours or whatever, right? So it's called hedging. So companies like to buy insurance, just like we have insurance on ourselves, right? You're like, hey, just in case while I'm sitting here talking to you, I die, I need something for my wife and son, just in case, he's a breadwinner, now he's not here. We need something to compensate for that.
Right.
But the idea is, the idea with that is people like to see, the idea behind that is that when you buy insurance, that's when people create a put contract. They would tell you like, hey, let me be able to buy this stock. So let's say if Google's at $1,000, they would say, hey, Cortez, let me be able to buy Google stocks from you at $800, right? Now, if Google stock I brought at $1,000 shoots down one day to $500, I could lose half of my investment. But I have this contract with you allowing me to buy your stock for $800. So that can absorb my loss. So that's why a lot of companies go out and they buy puts against their stock, or they may buy a call or something like that. But the whole concept when you look into option trading is that you're betting that a stock is going to be at a particular price at a certain time in the future. When you buy a call, you're saying that this stock is going to be at this price. I want to be able to buy this stock at this price by this date. That's the contract. Right now, Google's at $1,000. You can go buy a contract that says, hey, let me buy Google for $1,200. Contract doesn't end to January, right? You may purchase it today for $1,000. Let's say Google or Amazon or whatever shoots up to $2,000. Now, somebody who wants to go on the market, they have to pay $2,000 for the stock. Versus you, on the other hand, you can buy for $1,200. Now that piece of paper has value because the stock is going up. Going back to that concept we said about the coworker with the ticket and the underlying asset. So, and it works the opposite way around. The put side is saying, hey, I want to be able to sell this stock for this price. I want to be able to sell this stock for this price at this particular date in the future. People make money off of that when a stock loses value. Then you have strategies called straddles and strangles and iron condors that a little bit more elaborate, but they kind of go into the concept of you're betting on volatility where you buy this and sell this, which, it's a little bit more advanced to where it could get to the point people use option trading to make money off of a stock move, or they could be making money off of a stock's loss of volatility, implied volatility, because it's like anything. Tuesday, I was just on. I had a Yahoo Finance's chief editor. Like he was saying, the three things on Wall Street is you got three animals. You got the bull, the bear, and a pig. So people get greedy. When people get greedy, it increases the implied volatility, and people end up buying something that's overpriced. So people can use strategies to do that. Then they become popular sometimes around earnings season. Some companies like Facebook, Amazon, Best Buy, they make huge jumps overnight. So some people anticipate those huge jumps, and they could buy a call option or something like that, or put, or whatever the case may be. They use option trading to strategize to be able to profit off of a stock's move in the future or overnight in earnings.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot of jargon, but I was trying to,
No, this is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. So in other words, like for instance, that's why you see a lot of these companies do these major announcements and things of that nature, because they are actually manipulating the market. So when Apple announces the next iPhone coming out, somebody can anticipate that, hey, that's going to increase the stock. Or if they announce some bad news, like Samsung, for instance, we had to recall all of those 7, so I can anticipate that the volatility of their stocks going down. How far will they go down? Let me bet on that, or let me hedge against that, or let me sell some of this stuff because I know it's going down and things of that nature. So that's good stuff and good to understand, because it's all about assets at the end of the day. How valuable is the asset? How much do you own? How much insurance do you have to levy against its volatility and all of that good stuff? So really quickly before we get out of here, man, give my viewers 3 top tools that you use to kind of, not now because I know you're advanced, but maybe when you were first starting out, what are 3 tools that you use to help you get the knowledge base that gave you the confidence to go ahead and enter the market?
I would say first you have to seek out the best, right? And you have to seek out the best and go where that knowledge is, right? So for a prime example, nobody's not going to kick down your door and, give you knowledge, right? You have to go out there and get it. And to say to now, for when I started, we had more resources. One thing I would do is I would get on Amazon and I would just start checking out some books. I would follow people that are, people that you like for whatever your reason you like or that you respect in the financial industry or the investing world. You follow them, you listen to them, and you just pick up on clues. Like you start to pick up books. For myself, I was formally educated. Then I was informally educated by reading books and by reading things like that. And then I gained experience. For example, I went and interned and going to, Wall Street and to, the number of places that I've been able to go so far, but by getting around the best. But now today, I think one of the key pieces is you can go start a YouTube. You can go sign up for a YouTube account and you can type in investing and you can find a plethora of channels out there. Subscribe to them. Watch some videos. When you watch those videos, 9 times out of 10, they're going to mention a book. Like myself, I do book reviews. Then become a bookworm. Grab some books. You have an iPhone or Google or Android or whatever. Download some podcasts and learn. Then when you in your local community, find out little situations that are going on, like seminars and webinars and investor conferences and group meets and meetup and those things like that. And you start to get around those particular people. That's what's going to advance you, because something that took me 3 years to learn and to come to truth with, I can give it to somebody and, they could get it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. But with somebody getting a couple of days or a couple of weeks, it took me years to get that concept. But today you can speed it up by grabbing those books, changing your social media. You can follow all these different pages and you can listen. Then you can grab books. And when you find local events, or they don't have to be local, you find about some investing seminars, investing situations, or book launches, any type of book launch or investing or whatnot, try to get into that circle, because once you go to that event, guess what? You have all these like-minded people that are interested in investing. That's when you pull out your cell phone and you guys make contact, you guys follow each other, you guys share ideas, and that's where you can immerse yourself inside of investing. So that would probably be my top thing. Change your circle, because social media, Facebook, it's just a blank page. You can follow whatever you want to follow. You can add whoever you want to add as a friend, but you can also go like. There's plenty of investing pages out there for you to like. There's plenty events going on in your local area, right? And you just have to do that. Get into those circles. Get out the house. Right. Get out the house and go to some of these book launches. Go to some of these seminars. Go to some of these webinars And if you don't like the seminar or webinar or whatever the case may be, look who you are around. You know, you get to meet them, they meet you, and blah, blah. Same way we met, Cortez, social media, right? You meet each other, you guys come together, and you guys follow each other, and you guys can piggyback and help each other, whatnot, and that may be it.
Yeah, I think that's powerful, man. We are who we are based on three things primarily: the places we go, the people we hang with, and the books we read. And if you don't like who you are right now as an investor, or you want to learn investing, then change those three things when it comes to investing. Change the people you hang around when it comes to investing, change the books you read when it comes to investing, and change the places that you go when you want to learn investing. Workshops and seminars are free seminars all the time. Now, will they try to sell you something at the back of the room? I promise you they will. But just the free information and the ability to network with other people who are in those rooms is incredibly powerful, and that's how you can learn and grow. And you said something else, man, that reminds me of Rich Dad Poor Dad. You said you interned Wall Street and other local investing firms where you can learn and gain experience. You said I seek the best podcasts and books. And you said I had a formal education when I went to school. Then I got an informal education, which is that self-taught knowledge. Then I got experience through interning. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said, rich people don't work for money, right? And I bet you can attest to that internship taught you more or gave you more than they could have paid you in salary, where now you have that knowledge that you're making money on your own investments because what you learned there. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. You know, sometimes the opportunities you're waiting on won't come, and you will have to utilize those. You will have to create your opportunities by going in and saying, hey, you want to learn, and you're a kid, you're in college, or you could be an adult, you could be 30, 40, you want to learn, offer your service. Hey, I want to, I'm willing to run copies. Hey, I'm willing to do this or whatever. If, you know, if you allow me to do this, go get formally educated. You know, you can go out here and study and get your insurance license. You can study to get different investment licenses. You can become a certified financial educator. Those things when you become an asset, make yourself valuable, right? Now you get to, you know, now a company may say, hey, you know what? We'll allow you to come in here and to do X, Y, Z. While you're there, I learned so much. I interned at Guardian Financial Wealth Management out of Austin, Texas, right? And that was one of my intern spots, and also going over to Wall Street, all the way up to, you know, Goldman Sachs. But those situations where they didn't pay me to come.
Right.
I funded myself. I didn't get paid. I funded my whole self. I flew myself there. I got my own situation, my own everything or whatever. I was like, I'm not here to be a burden or get anything from nobody. I'm just here to learn.
Right.
You know, you don't have to do anything for me. I just want the opportunity. Right. If I get the opportunity to do this, this is what I want to do. Even going over to Berkshire 2 months ago, right? You know, Berkshire didn't fly me out of Hawaii to Omaha, Nebraska, or whatever the case may be. But what I was able to get out of that weekend or that meeting for those couple of days was priceless. Was priceless with the what I learned and saw and was able to be around. So invest into yourself, make an investment into yourself, and get around those people. You'll meet so many different type of people. They'll meet you. Then while you're there, guess what? You're hearing, you're watching, you're seeing everything, you're learning everything that's going on. You get to meet new people, and all that same time you're reading books. At that same time, you got that network of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, and you guys build off of each other. So you just have to change your circle, right?
That's amazing. And I'm glad you ended with that, man, because we're at the top of the hour. And guys, the biggest investment that you can ever make is in yourself. And I think my man Corey Briggs put up a meme a little while ago, and I always like to quote this one, here's what investing in yourself looks like. Is at one point, you have to empty your wallet to fill your mind. But then at a later point, you can empty your mind and fill your wallet. And I see that's what you're going through right now. You sucked up all of this knowledge, and now you're regurgitating and spitting that back out. And it's paying you handsomely because of the knowledge that you paid for. So that was the investment. You invested in yourself. There was some time that took place that it took for that to happen. And now you're getting a return on that investment as you teach what you know. So, brother, it has been a pleasure. Give everybody, again, your social media handles, where they can reach you, where they can get the book, if you got any events coming up where they can partner with you, or where they can meet you in person. Let's run through that real quick, and then we'll wrap up the show.
My name is Prince Dykes. You can follow me on Facebook and stuff like that. You can follow the Investor Show all on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You could a YouTube channel, the Investor Show as well. You could, the podcast as well. So you could we're on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere. You can also, if you want to check out the books, Wesley Learns series, you can go to wesleylearnstoinvest.com and you'll see both books. The book is available hardcover, paperback, ebook, all the way down to audiobook. You can go to iTunes and listen to it right now if you wanted to. You can download the audiobook and the ebook together and, have it read to you. So it's everywhere if you want to check out the book. Next, and also my new show here in Hawaii, talk show, local show, but it's also, the show is streamed live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on thinktechhawaii.com. So it's streamed live as well. And when those episodes come out, I upload them to my platforms as well. So you have that. The books are on Amazon, iTunes, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere online. You can check out the books. I think I hit on the shows. I'll be appearing live. I will be this Saturday. I will be at can't think where I'll be at, but I will be somewhere. If you're here in Honolulu, Hawaii, I will post it up. I will be there, and I'll probably be there for a couple hours.
Put the link in the chat to the show too when you get a chance. And there's a lot of people asking questions that we didn't get a chance to get to. So if you get a chance to go through the comment feed and answer those questions, that'd be amazing as well. Okay. So I appreciate that, man. Everything that you do, brother, for us as Black people, for us as Black men. Sometimes we need leadership in the term of things that we could do to better our finances and build legacies. And sometimes it's just, a matter of not to be racist or anything, but sometimes we just want to hear from each other. If I'm going to follow somebody, I want to follow somebody who looks like me, but somebody who looks like me who knows what they're talking about, right?
Yes.
Looks like me, and just trying to scam and scheme and that stuff, sort of thing. So I appreciate your time this morning, brother. Hang on for me as we close out the show, and then we're going to do some behind the scenes stuff. So you guys have been listening to and learning from Talking Money in the Morning, My Brother's Keeper speaker series featuring Prince Dykes from the Investor Show, and also the new show, The Prince of Investing, as well as the author of Wesley Learns to Invest and Wesley Learns About Credit. Go to wesleylearnstoinvest.com. Again, wesleylearnstoinvest.com to pick up the book and learn more about what the brother is doing. All across social media, if you check out the Investor Show, you will find the podcast, the programs, everything that he's got going on. Also, today's show is brought to you by Monetize My Life Academy. If you are trying to figure out how to transform your passion, just like he has transformed his passion for investing into multiple income streams, if you want to learn how to do that from one of your passions, then go to monetizemylifeacademy.com. We'll show you how to get that thing done. So until we talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, y'all.